Yeah. Hey, Joe. What are the concerns right now in the defensive secondary, especially with J Mac and Wayne Jones back there?
It's just being able to execute our things and just being able to apply our rules and principles. We're going to try some guys in some new spots to try to get guys in better positions to make plays. And the concern is just the limited amount of reps that those guys have had in those spots and the pictures that they see. But ultimately, I think it's the best for us long term.
Who do you feel like are going to be the starters this Saturday?
We're going to go through today and evaluate that yet. You're going to see some familiar faces in there.
Thank you.
Kels?
Where does trying to slow down this Oklahoma offense rank in terms of challenges you've faced before?
I think I saw some stat, or somebody told me a stat the other day. They'd scored 28 points in I don't know what I know the number, 52 straight games or something like that. I mean, it's a challenge for everybody. And I think that the way that we're approaching it is, it doesn't matter who we're playing or what we're playing against or whom they have on their side of the ball. It's about our execution, and it's about our fundamentals. And if we can apply our rules and principles and play fundamental football, I think we're going to stack up well against anybody.
We saw you rotate guys in and out pretty regularly during the Arkansas State game. Is that what you want to do moving forward?
Philosophically, my thought is if you're good enough to play, we're going to play you. And in fact, in my opinion, I think we probably played a couple guys too many snaps against Arkansas State. We'd like to be able to rotate guys that earned the opportunity to play. I thought there was a number of guys that did that, and that's why you're going to see so many bodies out there.
Ryan Black?
Joe, after we heard so much about Khalid, really, I guess, since preseason camp started, how disappointing was that for him not to play game one? And do you feel it's made him even more determined that when he does hit the field that he wants to prove all of this kind of talk about him was worthy of the hype?
I do think he has a chip on his shoulder. Yeah, and I know it was frustrating to watch last Saturday for him, especially because he would have been a big contributor to that type of a ball game. But he is, he'll be ready to roll when he gets his chance.
And then for you personally, when you look back on the first game, how do you feel like everything went in terms of that being the first time in a while that you were the guy making all the defensive calls?
Yeah, I mean, frustrating in that, the entire, in hindsight is 2020, so it's easy to say, but I got to do a better job of getting these guys in position to make plays. And I won't even say that. I got to get guys in better position where they're able to execute their jobs. If there is some type of gray area that exists with anything, that's my fault. And my job is to get these guys to play fast and get these guys in competitive situations. And if I do that, then the game is in their hands, and that's where we want it.
Derek?
Yeah, Coach, I asked Coach Messingham, but I'll ask you the same thing. What kind of bothered you the most about the performance against Arkansas State?
Just that we didn't play to our potential. We're better than what we showed. It was kind of a odd situation leading up to the game. I mean, right up even into Friday, it still felt like the game was, weeks away. And I don't know. I don't know that I won't say the guys weren't ready to play. They were very ready and eager to play. It just the urgency wasn't there. And I think that's probably the thing that bothered me the most is that even as the tide started to turn a little bit, I just still didn't feel like we had that urgency to go out there and, okay, we're going to start to play our type of ball right now. We're going to finish this thing the correct way. And it starts, as Coach Klanderman addressed with us, it starts with us as coaches. And we've got to do a better job of establishing that in this program.
First time that Justin Hughes played in quite a while. What was your assessment in terms of how healthy he looked and how fast he was playing?
I thought Justin played well. I thought Justin took a lot of pride, as he always does, in his responsibility and his run fits. Didn't notice, not once, his injury. In fact, he made an open field tackle in one situation that he and the ball carrier were about the only people within 20 yards of each other, and that was a big play at the time. I think he's back.
Adam?
Coach, on Tuesday, Justin Hughes said they had team meetings after the Arkansas State loss, and they were bringing in a new kind of energy into practices this week. Just in what ways have you seen that new energy this week?
Well, as I mentioned before, I thought one of the things that maybe lacked was the urgency. And that's something that Coach Klanderman preaches until he's blue in the face. And at the end of the day, as Coach says with his philosophy, it's the players' program. And coaches can yell and scream and stomp, but at the end of the day, it has to be the players that are policing that more so than us. And I think that the players finally realize that. And I've seen signs of that throughout the last 2 weeks. Certainly, as we get closer and closer to game week, you can kind of sense that tenseness within the players, that they have to earn victory. And I think they understand that. You earn that through your preparation, through your work, through your body of work leading up to game day. And I don't know that they all felt that way against Arkansas State. And again, I won't say that they weren't prepared, didn't work hard. They did. But it's just been at a new level this week. And I'm excited to see how it unfolds.
Kellis?
Who was somebody that really impressed you in the opener?
I think coming off of just the unknown would be Will Jones. Made a number of plays, had a big interception, had a forced fumble, had a couple of PBUs, and played a number of snaps. I mean, played more snaps probably than I anticipated him playing, and did really well. I know I'm sure there's a player or two that he wishes that he had back, but I think he answered the bell as a guy that we can count on moving forward. Another guy, a couple of guys that come to my mind are Drew Wiley and Eli Huggins. Just doing some things up front that were supernatural. I mean, we were able to steal some gaps with those guys at times. Those guys as a tandem is something that people better get used to seeing, because the bad boys in there, they're gonna take care of their business, and they really did, and they take pride in their role. If they're down in 10, probably not gonna see those guys. But in base downs, when we need to stop the run, get after some play action pass, and step on the quarterback's toes, those guys are going to be a big factor all year long.
And Chris mentioned this week, but how hard is it to get a backup, even a third string guy, to just go right into a game and play like a starter?
Especially a guy that hasn't played much. I mean, sometimes you have some backups that have some game reps under their belt. There's no substitute for game reps. And there's no substitute for game reps in the position that you're playing. I mean, sometimes, especially this year, you're going to have to deal with guys that might be playing multiple positions. That's just the way that it is. I mean, we might find out some information today or Friday that we'll have to make some last minute shifts into some of those awkward type of exchanges. But it's difficult. But that's kind of the hand that we're dealt.